Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2, Unit 5, 9.3, and Linear Programming Review. Remember to show all your work and place your final answers on the lines. Now remember, you can use a calculator, and it can only be one of these little baby ones. I don't want to see anyone in class using one of these guys. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, it says if Raven wants to cancel or eliminate the x's of the following system, so we're going to cancel the x's, and she multiplies the first equation by 7. So if I'm going to multiply the first equation by 7, we want to know what should we multiply the second equation by. So what do you think? Well, if you need a little help, 7 times 4, that's going to be a 28x. I need to get a negative 28x to cancel those out. So what number goes right here? What do you think? Yeah, it's a 4. Okay, if you multiply 4 times negative 7, you will get negative 28x to cancel them out. So the correct answer is 4. All right, number 2. Maria is 21 years older than Adrian. The sum of their age is 37. How old is Maria? Well, first thing I know that I need to do is to label what Maria and Adrian are. So they mentioned Maria first, so Maria is going to be my X, and Adrian's going to be my Y. So when they're saying Maria is, that's telling me equals. So right now, that first equation, X equals 21 years older than Adrian. So older than, remember more than is when we need to switch. So Maria is 21 years older than Adrian. So Y plus 21. Okay, so that was everything in that first sentence right there was our first equation. Now let's look at the second equation. The sum of their age is 37. So once again, is means equals, and they're 37. And what are we doing? We're taking the sum of their age. Who's they or their? Adrian and Maria. So x plus y equals 37 is that second equation. Okay? So now what we're going to do, how would we solve these? I'm going to move the second one just a little bit. Well, if you look at the top, the x is by itself, and when we have one variable by itself, we do substitution. Okay? So I look to see where the x is in the second equation, and that's where we're going to plug in the y plus 21 plus y equals 37. And now we solve. So combine your like terms. The y's right there. So we have 2y plus 21 equals 37. And now we solve for y. So I subtract each side by 21. And we get 2y equals 16. And to get the y by itself, I need to divide by 2. And it tells me that y is 8. And remember that y was Adrian, and they want Maria. So now that I know what Adrian is, I can go back into this first equation, the x equals 8 plus 21, and we find out that Maria is 29 years old. So Maria is 29, and if you want to write years old, go for it. All right. Number 3, let's zoom in and take a look at it. So it says to solve the system. So the first thing I notice when I'm going to solve the system and the x's and y's are lining up, so I'm going to solve this using elimination. Okay? Now I'm going to need to cancel either my x's or the y's. It doesn't matter which one you choose. I think the x's are the easiest. Because what can I multiply the top by to cancel out the x's? Well, if the bottom is 4x, I need the top to be a negative 4x. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply. I get negative 4x minus 12y. Okay, and off the top of my head, I don't know what that is, so I'm doing 14 times 4, knowing that it's going to be a negative, and that's going to be a negative 56. And now my bottom stays the same. So we got 4x plus y equals 23. Okay, and then just like we wanted to, the x's cancel out. Negative 12 plus 1y gives us negative 11y. And now I have negative 56 plus 23. So they're different signs, so we subtract 56 minus 23 is 33. And it's going to be a negative 33 because I have more negatives. Okay, now to get the y by itself, I need to divide both sides, and I'm going to divide by a negative 11. And when I divide by negative 11, I get y equals 3. Now, solving the system, we are finding a point. That is just the y. I need to go back and figure out what x equals. So x plus 3y equals 14. We're plugging in 3. 3 times 3 is 9. And to get the x by itself, I need to subtract both sides by 9. And we get that x equals 5. So then our point is 5, 3. Okay, number 4. So number 3, we did elimination. Look at 4. What do we have to do for 4? Yeah, my y is by itself, which means I'm going to plug that in to where the other y is at. Okay, so this is substitution. So we have x plus 6 equals 25. So in the parentheses, that's where we're going to add the negative 5x plus 38. Okay, and we need to distribute. Hopefully you guys have gotten those calculators. 6 times negative 5 is negative 30x. 6 times 38, I don't know that off the top of my head. We get 228, and it's a positive 228 equals 25. I need to combine my like terms. X minus 30 gives me negative 29x plus 228 equals 25. And now we're just solving. So I'm going to subtract the 228 to both sides. I have negative 29x equaling, what's 25 minus 228? I get negative 203. Don't freak out, guys. Oh my gosh, they're big numbers. Don't worry about it. And to get the x by itself, we need to divide by negative 29. Okay, so if your calculator doesn't do negatives, just know a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 203 divided by 29, and we get 7. Okay, so remember, that is just the x value. We need to go back and find out what the y is. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the bottom equation, y equals negative 5x plus 38, and we're checking 7. Negative 5 times 7 is negative 35. And negative 35 plus 38 is 3. So we get the point 7, 3. Okay, let's look at number 5. Okay, once again, we are solving the system. And looking at it, our x's and y's are both lined up, so I want to do elimination. So, 6 and 9. Oh man, that's going to give me some trouble. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the multiples of 6. We got 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, that keeps going. The multiples of 9, which is 9, 18, 20. Oh, wait. Yeah, look. 18. Okay. So now I know that I can multiply 6 by 3 and the bottom by 2. And the nice thing is they're already opposites, so we don't have to worry about negatives. Okay, 3 times 6 is 18x. 3 times 10 is 30. And 3 times 30, don't get the calculator, 3 times 3 is 9, and then you add the 0. And let's make that look like a 0. Okay, 2 times negative 9, we get negative 18x. 2 times negative 15, we get negative 30y. And 2 times negative 45 is negative 90. Okay, so let's see what happens. 18x and negative 18x, well, those cancel out like we wanted to, but we have 30 and negative 30 canceling out, so that's a 0. Okay, you don't just say, oh, it's y. No, it's not y because your y's just canceled out. Okay, and then on the right side we have 90 minus 90, which also gives us 0. And what we're left with a true statement. And when we're left with a true statement, our final answer here is infinite solutions. Okay? All right. Number 6. So, number 6 is asking us to graph the following system of inequalities. Inequalities, look, they're no longer equal signs. Then determine if whether 4, negative 5 is a solution to this. Okay, so the first thing that I notice between these is that x is not by itself. Okay, so we're going to need to solve each one of those. So our first one of 7x minus 3y is greater than 9. We need to go ahead and solve for y. So it's when y equals mx plus b. So we want the y by itself. So we're going to subtract the 7x first. And we're left with negative 3y is greater than negative 7x plus 9. The y is not by itself yet, so we have to divide by a negative. And when we're dealing with inequalities and we divide by negative, we have to flip the sign. Okay? So we have y is less than. A negative divided by negative is a positive. Just because you have a calculator does not mean you get to do 7 divided by 3 and write, oh, it's 2.333. That doesn't help you guys, especially with graphing. Okay? So 7/3 x minus 3. Okay, so let's graph this. I know that my slope is 7/3. My y-intercept is 0, negative 3. I have an inequality, so I have to pay attention to that. Okay, this is going to be open And so we said open and dashed. And it's less than, which means I'm going to shade below. Okay, so I am starting at -3, and I'm open, and I'm following my slope. I'm going up 7, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, over 3. 6, 7, up. I'm off the graph, but that's where I would be. Okay, and I'm going to go in the opposite direction too. Down 7, left 3. Okay, you cannot do this freehand. Use a calculator. Use a straight edge. I am using my ruler. I'm just lining up all my points. It is a dashed line. And then make sure that you have, I'm going to put my other arrow right here. Arrows. Okay. No, we're not done. We still have to do the other line. Okay. We have the x plus 3y is less than or equal to 15. Okay. So we're doing the same thing. We're solving for y. Subtract the x to the other side. And we get 3y is less than or equal to -x plus 15. And to get the y by itself, we need to divide. So we get y is less than or equal to -1/3 x plus 5. Okay? So what do we know about that line? Well, we know that the slope is -1/3 and the y-intercept is 0, 5. When it has the line underneath it, it means that it is solid. And it's less than, so that means shade below. Okay, so I'm going to draw this line in red. There's 5, and I'm going down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. Now, remember that this is a negative slope, so it needs, your line needs to be going down. Okay? So from left to right, this graph, or this line, is falling. Okay? I'm just lining up my ruler again. There is my line. And so the last thing, since this is an inequality, we have to do the shading. Okay? We talked about labeling your regions with a pencil. Okay? And then you're doing this next part in your head. So the blue part, it says that I need to be below the blue. So below the blue means I can erase 1 and 4. And I need to be below the red line, which means I can erase 2. And then I get my final answer, that is 3. Okay? So go ahead and shade everything in region 3. All right, finally I'm done. No, we forgot that last question. Determine whether 4, -5 is the solution. So what do you think? Where is 4, -5? 4, -5 is right there. So is 4, -5 a solution? Yes. Okay. 4, -5 is a solution. And why is that? It's because it's in that shaded region. Okay? All right. Well, guys, that's just page 1. Okay? We have 3 more pages to go. All right? So this is Mr. Grice signing off for the Algebra 2 Unit 5, 9.3, and Linear Programming Review. If you need help, come find us. Thanks for watching.